Now, let's start with data types, more specifically with the primitive data types. Primitive data types are really the core elements of the data types in Java, because even the reference data type are a combination of multiple of the primitive data types. Now, there are 8 primitive data types, and those primitive data types have different keywords, size, and the range of data value they can have. And now you need to know them because you will be using them a lot in practice. Okay. Now, in the table here, I've listed those data types, their types, size, their range, and give an example of them. Now, let's go through them one by one so that you can get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. But before I start, we need to talk about what integral value and floating point value are. Right? So in short, integral values are whole numbers, that is numbers without decimal parts, like 1, 2, 1000, etc. A floating point value is a number with decimal part like 1, 5, 1, 1, 3, 2, 4, etc. All right. Now, there's a primitive data types are what you see in the keyword columns. These are the Boolean, byte, short, int, long, float, double, and char. And you see the size there, we see that the Boolean is 1 bit of information, true or false. Size is not given. So far, the size, as I'm making this video, the size is not given by Oracle. But it's basically because it depends on the virtual machine. Byte is 8-bit integral values, 16 for short, 16 bits for short integral values, int 32-bit integral values, long 64-bit integral values. Then you have float, which is 32-bit floating value, double 64-bit floating value, and char 16-bit Unicode value, meaning only one without sign, so only one direction, so only positive number. So if you look at the size and the range, you see that the byte, the Boolean, I'll skip the Boolean because, like I said, the size depends on the Java virtual machine. I'll go to the byte of 8-bit integral value, and they have the range, which is minus 128 to 127. This is the number, the range of values that a byte can have, which means if I have a byte, a variable of data type byte, and I give it a value of 129, this will not work because it is out of the range of a byte. Okay? Then you see the short 16-bit integral values, you see the range to be negative 32,768 to positive 32,767. Again, here if I give, for example, a value of negative 32,769, it will not work because it is out of the range of values that a short could take. That's why you see, for example, in the examples here for byte, and I'm giving you 123 because it is in the range, within the range of negative 128 to positive 127 range. And for Boolean, it can only be true or false. This is the one bit of information can be true or false. So the example, that's why it is true, just true. Okay. So this is the same thing for int, and then you see it is 32-bit integral value. You have the range there. And how do you get those range? So to get those range, you just need to calculate 2 to the power the number of bits. So for example, to get the byte, the range of the byte, the total range, meaning the total number of value, you just need to do 2 to the power 8. Then you see what you have there. That's the total number of value that it could take. Next, write the range, because the range you see that is divided into two, negative and positive side. So the long is the same. You see the range for the long, and you can notice that the range of a long is bigger than int, and the int is bigger than short, and so on and so forth. Now let's go to the floating and double. Here you see that it is 32-bit floating point value. If you look at the range, it is very big of the number of values you could take. And what I want to bring your notice to, your attention to, is the example. For float in Java, if you want to have a float value, you need to add the F character at the end of the value. It could be capital F or a small f or lowercase f. Okay? And the double is, you see the range also, you see that it is bigger, 64 is floating point value. And then you see also for the double, you may add the D at the end, or the lowercase d or capital or uppercase D, or you may leave it. But by default, float, any float, the decimal numbers or float value are considered double. That's why by default you may leave it. Now, I want to talk about long because I just see know that I skipped it. So long, in the example, you will notice that I also added an L. So that is, if you want Java compiler to consider their value to be a long, you need to add L. It could be capital L or uppercase L or small l or lowercase l. That way Java will understand that it is a long. But if you do not put the L on it, Java consider it by default as an integer. Okay. Now the car, you see that 16-bit Unicode value. So which means that it only has positive range of value. That's what I just talked about. If you see also here in the range, I just say empty character to question mark, or 0 to 65,535. Now, in terms of amount of value, short and car have the same amount of value they could take. Because you could also see they are both 16-bit. The difference is you see that car and car is starting from 0, while short is starting from negative 32,768. Okay. Now, the reason why car takes characters and zero and digit, excuse me, because in the characters have a numeric representation, corresponding numeric representation, and that is possible in Java that you can actually use the numeric representation for characters. Okay, so for example, here I put C, character C is also note that single quotation in Java is for characters and double quotation is for string, which we'll see about a bit later. So C is also 99. So I could give 99 or C to a character variable, it will be the same thing. Okay, all right. So I hope you understand this. But like I said, you just know that they exist and you just to know them. And you get some practice in the demo section and you understand them a bit better.